Hola muchachos, ¿qué tal? Buenos días, aquí tienen el horario para hoy, viernes, el 21 de abril. Your only homework was the Quizlet vocab practice for Chapter 4B. You do not have any homework for the holiday weekend. Short answer question for your warm-up for today. ¿Cómo te saludas? We'll get to that here in just a moment. We're going to take new notes on Chapter 4B that we're going to be starting today. Celebrando los días festivos. So the objectives for this chapter are for you guys to be able to listen and read about family celebrations, talk and write about how your family used to celebrate holidays and your favorite birthday from when you were a child, and then exchange that information, about where, with whom, and how you used to celebrate holidays as a child. So if we take a look at the key vocabulary, which we will, today on page 212 and 213, we're going to highlight ways that we greet one another and embrace one another. You can see the pictures there and some of the captions, how we greet one another based upon our friend or family relationship. So taking a look at that key vocabulary on page 212 and then also on 213. Some special occasions, and then how we celebrate those special occasions. So key vocab is highlighted there in beige, in bold. And so to take inventory of it, although you already did your Quizlet practice, that's the benefit of knocking out the homework prior to the day that it's due. Page 234, página 234, gives you all the key vocabulary that you looked at in Quizlet. So yeah, on page 234, you guys can see all the key vocabulary in both English and Spanish, and it's laid out there for you in the glossary. And you guys are going to use that for your warm-up for today, which is ¿Cómo te saludas? How you greet the following groups of people utilizing that key vocab. You have a couple examples there that you guys can refer to. So, generalmente, ¿cómo saludas a tus primos? For example, generally, how do you greet your cousins? You can begin by saying por lo general, or generalmente. And then you guys don't need to worry about conjugating those verbs that show up on the key vocab, although you're obviously more than welcome to try. That would be ideal if you could. At the very least, you guys can identify the vocabulary that pertains to that particular situation. Generalmente, ¿cómo saludas a tus hermanos? How do you greet your siblings? Por lo general, nos decimos, we say to each other, hola, ¿qué tal? So you can use those example responses to begin your responses to these four questions. ¿Cómo saludas a tus amigos? How do you greet your friends? ¿Cómo saludas a tus padres? How do you greet your parents? ¿Cómo saludas a tus compañeros de clase? How do you greet your classmates? And then, ¿cómo saludas a tus vecinos? How do you greet your neighbors? And next on the agenda after the warm-up is going to be the video historia. So kind of taking a look at this vocabulary in context. You guys are going to do the reading first and foremost. It's on page 213. I'll go back to that so y'all can see. Página 213. Has a description of una fiesta de cumpleaños. Second paragraph is un aniversario and how we celebrate that. And then los fuegos artificiales o el Día de la Independencia aquí en los Estados Unidos el 4 de julio. ¿Cómo se celebra el Día de la Independencia? So try to take a look at those three special occasions, and then you guys are going to wrap up class today taking a look at the video historia. Comprendiste questions are the ones that you're responsible for, and that's where we're going to wrap up this video, going over what the questions are asking, and then you guys know by now that you can find the answer in the text. They're all text-dependent questions, so just refer in chronological order to the script and you'll be able to find them just fine, I'm sure. So we have Ignacio and Javier. Ignacio is recounting to Javier one of his favorite celebrations from when he was a kid. And here are the questions that you're going to answer in relation to the story. Número uno, ¿por qué conocía Ignacio este día festivo? Why does Ignacio, or how does Ignacio know about this holiday? How is he familiar with it? Find the answer there in the text. Number two, ¿cómo empezaba el día? How does the day begin? Looking for an event for number two. Number three, ¿qué tipo de instrumentos tocaban los músicos? What kind of instruments did the musicians play? And to begin all of these, you guys are just going to use what's in the text. Excuse me, you're going to use what's in the question to begin the response. So like number three, for example, your subject is los músicos. That's what we're talking about, right? You're going to begin your response with los músicos and then your verb, tocaban. Los músicos tocaban. And then you go find in the script the answer, the type of instruments that they used to play. All right, number four, ¿a dónde iba Ignacio después del desfile? Where did Ignacio used to go after the parade? So we're looking for a location, right? For number four. Number five, ¿qué otros idiomas hablan en Alsasua? So it's kind of interesting that this Fiesta de San Pedro se llama. There are a lot of different patron saint holidays that they celebrate throughout Spain. And if we look at the geography of Spain, this takes place in north-central Spain, which is the Basque region, and they speak a language that is unique to that region. So that's what you guys are going to be looking for number five. ¿Qué otros idiomas? What other languages aside from Spanish are spoken in Alsasua? Number six, ¿qué es la chizora? That's not a Spanish term. So we're going to look for what exactly that is. A description in Spanish is what you're looking for of that key term. ¿Qué hacía la gente después de comer? What did the people do after eating? ¿Qué hacía? So we're looking for an activity. For number seven. Number eight, según las fotos, ¿cómo se viste Ignacio para ir a la celebración? You can just look at the pictures. Según las fotos, according to the pictures here, identify some key items of clothing. You can go to page 42, if I'm not mistaken. Excuse me, page 70 has the vocabulary that we looked at in first semester. And so utilize that vocab to identify some items of clothing. For number 8, ¿cómo se viste? How does he dress for the occasion? Then number 9, ¿qué le falta a Javier? What is Javier missing? You can actually also see that in the photo as well. And that's also going to be an item of clothing. So do your best with that. Answers we can go over together next class, although if you're watching the video, you can kind of see I've highlighted here in green, essentially, the answers to each of them. All right, y'all, so that is your work for today. No homework at all. Just make sure you guys knock out your Quizlet. Matter of fact, if you haven't done that yet, I'd start there, because that's where you guys are going to front load all the vocabulary that we're going to go over for this chapter.